up, boys and girls? This is Due Diligence here, and this is about 3 o'clock in the a.m. in the morning. And if you can hear my voice, you will know that I just went out, and I'm like right in the portion where I'm still buzzed, but also just a little bit drunk, but also my mind can think really clearly right now. It's a very interesting night, and I don't know if you guys are interested in those kind of contents where I went out and sort of experienced life and I would apply what I'd learned from the night out to trading. I know it's kind of unethical to sort of like apply a lot of those experiences into trading, because I feels like 100% of the time or 99% of the time of the day I think about trading anyways. And here it is. Okay, this is a reflection of me going out tonight. And for those of you who just want to jump the gun and ask me if I get any, no, I didn't get any. And I think I missed a lot of trading windows. It's really bad to talk about getting chicks as trading itself, but it is. It's like when you go to the bar and you're trying to pick up some girls who are within a group. It's the same thing as when you're day trading. A lot of times when you enter a position, you don't really you have the minimized amount of DD you have on hand, and you have to sort of make the decision on spot, right? For example, if you see someone on the street, would you approach and say, "Hey, you looks cute. Would you want to go out on a date with me?" Which those approach probably doesn't work 99% of the time, because when a girl feels like, oh, you just want to go have sex with her or just want to go out with her, she will just say no automatically. I've tried that with a lot of statistics I have on hand. I'm pretty sure I've already go up to about 145 girls in total in the past 3.5 years. And there's only 3 of them agreed to go on a date with me. And 3 over 145. Sorry, my brain is a little scrambled, but that's still a very low percentage, as you can see. If you go in a bar and you do a club, it's a story of it's a story of adverse selection. Because if you think about it, if you're a hot chick or you're a hot guy and you have sort of like stable income, the probability of you not being chased by other girls or guys is pretty low. So the probability of you not being coupled up in a young age is pretty low. So the entire bar game itself is adverse selection. It's like when an insurance company is targeting those people who are extremely vulnerable and they charge them for more because they're more likely to be injured. Therefore, their insurance fee will go up to the roof, right? It's the same thing in a bar. For those of you who go to bar often, you will know that a lot of people in the bars are either broken or they're just super lonely. And their objective is to get some by the night, right? Therefore, when you're approaching the bar, your mentality has to be different from other people. This is what we call the Course Theorem, which is whoever's in the bar is more likely to go out with you or go home with you when you sort of when they're thinking about go home with you is the least amount of resistance, if that makes sense. If we go on that thought, which means you have to demonstrate your disinterest in this person, but also demonstrate enough interest in this person so that this person will go home with you. This entire bar scene is a game. It's a game of push and pull. It's more like a game of, it's like when you enter in a trade, it's more about how do you average down to an extent where you know that, say, this stock, for example, like we just take AEI as an example, right? You know that AEI, the stock have at least 9% minimum upside. Actually, it's not maximum upside, because if you do the detailed dilution of AI, we'll realize that there's at least 9% upside on the stock, because if you look at how much it raised by doing a $5.5 offering on that day, you will realize that it diluted the entire stock by X percentage, but the amount of percentage that it went down is way exceeding the amount of dilution. And if you look at their financial statement, you realize that the reason why they're doing this is because they need more capital so that they can have more sales. And their cost of goods sold is actually decreasing over the past few years. They will make me profit. So if you invest in this company for long term or for the medium term, just stay for the next 6 months, you will see an upside higher than your average cost. So in this kind of trade, what you're trying to determine is how long you want to get into this trade and how long you will hold it, and what your actual exit strategy is. It's the same thing as when you go in a bar, when you see a group of people that you want to approach and you approach them, what you have in mind is, okay, like what is the amount of time I want to stay with this group? Because you know in your head that if you stay longer with this group, you're sort of like getting more invested. And when you're getting more invested, there are more probability of you not being able to cut the loss per se. And if you don't cut the loss, that means you're wasting your entire night on a group of people that you probably won't, get any from, if that makes sense. Because the probability of a girl going out on her own is so low to an extent where it sort of makes your chance obsolete, if that makes sense. And the same thing as with you. Like if you just the same thing was going to bar as trading, right? If you're just trading alone, that means you only have the information you have on hand for your own ability. But if you have a group of people who can help you to do DD, this is why I love Discord channel, because a lot of times, and I thank you so much for all of my Discord members who's been working so hard doing their own DD, and which makes my job easier because I can post my DD or I can talk about DD on my videos and they can back check on me. And when they post their DD, I can sort of build my work on top of them and I can sort of back check or, go back and look at what they did wrong or they did right. And I sort of give them comments on it. And I will build up my general understanding of the market way more than before. The same thing happens when you're going out. The probability of you getting any by just going out alone is pretty low. Speaking out of experience, right? You guys are saying that I'm a virgin. All right, let's just tell you that I'm a virgin. If I'm a virgin, then it's really hard to really go out by myself. So when I found out that if I go out with my friend, the probability of me like integrating our group into other people's group is way easier than me going out by myself and integrating myself into other people's group. Because essentially, the entire bar game is a game. It's a game of building trust, and trust is a perpetual sort of equation. It's not really like a linear sort of thing. It's more like a exponential equation. At first, you're operating on a very low sort of flat line, but also increasing. And at one point, when you engage in a conversation with someone and they sort of click, then you exponentially grow your trust, and they will more likely to be friends with you, integrate yourself into their groups, or just go home with you. Now we're getting to the territory where we talk about manipulation, which I don't think is purely manipulation because both of you are sort of semi-intoxicated and all of your decision-making process is go down to your basic human instinct. And your basic human instinct is about 2,000 years or maybe more than that long, and you should trust yourself. And a lot of times when a girl decides to go home with you, that means she have a lot of trust in you, and you should also give her back those trust. So do not treat her badly, treat her with respect and everything. Make sure you have every consent that you have when you're engaging in those kind of activities. But at the same time, in order to get to that point, you have to invest yourself into them, which means you have to be vulnerable in front of them. And a lot of times, because we're in an adverse selection sort of situation, that means there are other guys who are in the same boat as you, as lonely as you, who want who want some as much as you do. They're trying to beat your competition. And the only way of you beating them as a solo is to expose yourself. Expose the most genuine self in front of the girls. And I found that as the most probable and most successful approach. But by doing that, you're sort of putting yourself out there and you sort of expose yourself for harm. So I don't know if eventually that's worth the effort or not, because a lot of time I figured that statistically speaking, you have to spend at least 3 or 4 hours with a girl to make sure that she's building up trust with you, and she will either go out with you more, that's not the same night, or they will go home with you. But the probability of they go home with you is a matter of practice and a matter of how straightforward you are and how you say things, okay? It's a craft that you have to practice, and I'm not really sure at this point that it's worth to practice, because it's like going to a casino. It's a zero-sum game. You have to go home with one or go home with none, right? And then what you're paying for is you're paying for the drinks, and those drinks are like operating as a house. It's basically like if you're going to a casino, if you count cards, you have more edge, but if you don't, then you're paying more money to the house. Same thing in this bar business. And because COVID happens, that means these bars are more likely their strategy is to make sure that you stay there longer. They will give you more drinks and more alcohol, so you will get more alcohol. And yeah, that's about it. That's literally the game. The game is about make sure that you stay there as long as you can. So then when you're feeling stiff or when you feel not confident, you will go for more drinks, and the more drinks add up, then they will make more money. And because COVID happened, they will probably increase the amount of money per drink. And yeah, that's about it. I guess I don't know if it helps you guys with a lot of your day trading troubles or psychology of it, but at the end of the day, it's more about not giving up and trust yourself. At the same time, when you fail, if you don't get some at the night, you shouldn't be discouraged about it. The same thing with trading. If you have a position right now that you're not satisfied with, or you're seeing in red, there are a lot of ways to mitigate your losses, really. And we are our manager of our own portfolio. Therefore, our job is to allocate the amount of money that we think is justifiable, and as long as if we allocate the right amount of money in the right amount of stocks, there's no way that you're making losing trades. Because if you just, for example, right, if you just only enter about 20 shares per trade, every time you lose about 10% on the day or 10% over the past few days, you can buy in that stock twice the amount of money that you bought in before. So you'll average down by that, and you're probably going to utilize a lot of straddle position and a lot of call position selling put. When you have 100 shares, you can sell puts. You can sell calls, and you can use selling puts as a hedging activity. And by doing that, you can make more premium and sort of average down that way. And by doing that, the probability of a stock going down 10 days in a row is so low to an extent which is impossible. So then one of those days, when you average out to an extent, you can always exit in a positive position. Alright, I think this is it for the late night DD update. I don't know if you guys are interested in those content. This is just purely raw, me recording it about 3 a.m. in the morning. And it happened. There's a lot of things happening tonight. I was with a group of girls, 2 girls. One of them is a single mother, and the other one is just having fun. They've already laid out every information I need to sort of, take one of them or 2 of them at home. But the fact that my brain is just moving too fast, and a lot of times I understand them, but I cannot execute because I feel shy. I know I feel a little bit stiff and shy because I haven't been going out for a long time. But anyways, this is it. If you guys want more of those content, comment down below or just like this video. And if you haven't subbed for this channel, in our due diligence channel, we provide one of the most premium metamaterials content online, and we provide one of the most premium stock analysis content in DD online anyways. And I provide a lot of information that could be considered a little bit edgy, but also a lot of information I have, probably a lot of the streamers and YouTubers do not have, because I will probably, the way how I sniff through and how I strive my information or how I get my information is literally earlier than every other retail investor on the market. So yeah, if you haven't sub to this channel, if you like this kind of content, or just like my reflection in general, leave me a like and leave a comment below. Thank you so much for all your support. See you guys on the upside.